Good afternoon, everyone. This side Sanjay Som from ICMI Social Welfare Organization. Welcome to our program, awareness session on business responsibilities and sustainabilities. So today's speaker is Anshu Nagar, sir. He has already joined. So I'm welcoming to Mr. Anshu Nagar for this program. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so shall I start or should we
Yes,
wait
we can
for
start.
some? Okay. Fine. Can you give me the right to share my screen? Yeah, it is. The screen is visible to all?
Yes, visible.
Okay. So welcome everybody. Myself Anshu Nagash. I am from ProSure Technologies Private Limited, and we are. I'm the co-founder of the ProSure Technologies, and we are EHS and sustainability consultant based out of Indore. We offer services like audits, trainings, assessments, sustainability reporting, and other customized solutions to our customers across India. Fine. So today's session is being organized for the awareness session on business responsibility and sustainability reporting. So it is an attempt to mainstream the ESG awareness and ESG incorporation in all business activities and operations across, right from the mining or resourcing of the raw materials till the end life of the products or services whichever is being provided. And the government of India is very much focused to provide to inculcate sustainability reporting and sustainable development within the organizations of India, so that we can compete with the rest of the world and our products, services, and our reputation among the countries, among the international investors and different lending institutions improves our ESG rating, and thus we can attract a good amount of investment. And also, while doing so, we take care of the social part and the environment part of our country and the world, because as rightly the United Nations presidents had told that the era of global warming has been done, and now we are into the era of global boiling. As we can all see that nowadays catastrophic events like severe droughts, severe rains, floods, earthquakes, and all type of environmental emergencies is very frequent, and lots of lives and money and properties are being damaged regularly through this. So while we are operating our businesses, we should always try to take care of the environmental and social part of our company. I'm not talking much about the governance part, because this is the part which at least all the companies are already taking care of. Fine. So let me just tell you what is the background of this BRSR and sustainability. As you can see on your screen, that with the sustainable development and the climate change movement gaining momentum, the sustainability reporting landscape is changing rapidly around the globe. With the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Protocol, there are very much all the nations in the world are united together to fight the climate change and other environmental impacts which the business and other routine activities are taking care of. Then the sustainability reporting framework, there are lots of sustainability reporting frameworks around the world, like you might have heard of GRI, that is Global Reporting Initiative, SASB, that is Sustainability Accounting Standards Boards, United Nations SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, United Nations Global Compact, CDP, that is Climate Disclosure Project, then BRSR, which is Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. So each institution, each investor, or you can say each country or organization reports their environmental and social impacts that might be negative or positive to their investors and to their different stakeholders, internal or external both. They report this their impacts through a set framework which are being designed by different institutions like United Nations, World Bank, or other voluntary organizations. As there are many different frameworks available in the international market to report the disclosures related to the sustainability, the most used framework internationally is Global Reporting Initiative. It is being recognized well with all the institutions, and all the companies have been using this in framework, GRI framework, from around 10 to 15 years from now. And it is a very comprehensive framework. It has all the details for all the companies in different sectors. So it is one of the best frameworks which is currently operating in international market. Then for the Indian companies, SEBI has up a new guidelines, set of guidelines, which is called BRSR, and it is being gathered, the data being gathered from all the existing initiatives or frameworks or standards available in the market, and all the main points of all those standards have been collected, and whichever are applicable as per the Indian market or Indian context, all have been derived, and all the key performance indicators, that are KPIs, are being collected, and a set standard has been prepared for that, and it is called BRSR, that is Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. Now what are the things which are required in BRSR, and what are the things it we will have a look in each of them. First one we can see on the left top, that is waste management policies, reuse and recycle. If your organization or operational activities are creating some waste, although each operations have create some of the waste, so what are the waste, how to segregate them, how you are using them, how you are reusing or recycling, or even disposing them, what are the principles you are following, what are the policies you have, what are the procedures available for you to dispose of those waste, and if you are giving it to the vendor, or you are conducting audits, or you are taking checking what they are doing with those waste. Then there is employee welfare and benefits. What are the policies of your for employee welfare, and HR policies are available there, how much payment you give as a share of the company's turnover, what are the maternity benefits, what are the paternity benefits, what are the recruitment policies of your company. So this type of things comes under the employee welfare and benefits. Next, there is accessible. Your organization should be accessible for all type of person, for a normal abled person also, and for specially abled persons also. Like you might have seen that there are low floor buses being operated in all the metro cities and tier 1 cities, so that person with a wheelchair can easily board the bus. And also there are different ramps for in the aeroplanes to get all those specially abled persons into the airplane on board. So these type of things have to be inculcated in the infrastructure and the culture of the working culture of the organization. Then what are the employee sanitization trainings, POSH and anti-corruption practices? And what are the codes of conducts, and these types of things have to, this particular part comes under both domain, under the social domain also, and also under the governance part, since the training and all these COCs and other practices comes under the governance part. Then there is implementation of the CSR activities. As you know that after 2015, it is a mandatory for all the companies which have which are listed have to invest some amount, that is 2% of their profit margin to in the CSR activities. And now how you are selecting the CSR activities which are being organized by your organization or funded by your organization? Are you assessing the impacts of your CSR activities? Who are doing those CSR activities? And all these type of things have to be collected and disclosed in the BRSR format. What are the chances of inclusive or work in for inclusive work environment? How you are creating an interactive and good safety culture within your organization? What are the practices you are following? How much interaction is being done between the different stakeholders? How you are trying to achieve the targets to interact with the MSMEs within your area? How you are trying to take the local raw materials from the local markets, and this type of things comes under the work environment and your purchasing part. Then accountability towards the environment. This is the main thing which for which this sustainability report works. Like how much of greenhouse gas you are emitting, are you measuring the greenhouse gas emission or not, and what are the steps you are taking to reduce the greenhouse gas emission which is being emitted, which is being impacting the. Everyone please mute your mic.
Go behind it. In fact, the most important question is,
please mute your mic. If there is any question, kindly raise your hand. I will let you know, let you speak.
what causes headaches in the first place? Hey friends, in today's episode, let us explore the theme for topic and answer the aching question that we all should know about. That is, what causes headaches?
Dr. Gupta, can you please mute everyone?
It is the kind of pain you feel in our head and upper leg. We may feel as if your brain is hurting a lot, but despite the widespread belief, headaches aren't the pain in your brain.
Hello?
It does not have the receptors to feel the pain. Yes, headaches are actually.
Okay, so we were on the.
Brain tells us when other parts of our body hurt.
Can you please ask to mute everyone?
This type of pain generally arises in the nerve.
Kailash ji, can you just please mute? Okay, so we were on the environment part of the BRSR. So in the environment part, like how much the greenhouse gas emission or operational activities are being done, and what are the water footprints of our company, what are the energy use we do we have any policy of conducting energy audit or not, how we are measuring the amount of energy we are using and how we can reduce that. So these are water neutrality, carbon neutrality, energy neutrality, waste management, and these all type of things. Green belt, if there is an organization of us or there's a plant, how much a green belt do we have the 33% of the total area or not? So this type of things comes under the environmental part, which our organization have to take care of. Then there the last one, that is the diversity practices in the boardroom should be there. It comes under the G part of the ESG. So if there are any board members or there are any top management posts available, so how we are recruiting those top management personals? Do we have any type of policy or set procedures or qualification that a person should have at least to fill up that top position and work on behalf of the organization? So all these parts comes under the umbrella of the sustainability, and sustainability is a very big umbrella. It has many different aspects, and these are all the few major points, KPIs, which needs to be addressed and disclosed in the BRSR report. Apart from these points, there are many different points which are also available. I will let you know all those things in the further slides. So what is the ESG practices in India and how it comes? What is the background? What is the history? So we have to first understood why BRSR is being mandated by the SEBI now onwards. So as you can see in the slide that in 2009 only, the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, have issued a national voluntary guidelines, NVGs, on corporate social responsibility. So first in 2009, it was the first step towards the social responsibility, or you can say towards the sustainability part. In 2000, what MCA has done, they have drafted guidelines in which the companies they can adopt it voluntarily. It was not mandated, and they can, according to that particular guideline, they can move ahead and they can do their social responsibility part. So it was a voluntary part and it was not mandated in 2009. It was the starting point in India. Then in 2020, what SEBI has done, they have prepared a standard format, or you can say a framework, in which BRR, Business Responsibility Report, was being asked by the SEBI, and all the companies was mandated afterwards. But in 2012, top 100 listed entities as per the market capitalization have to issue BRR, Business Responsibility Report, based on National Voluntary Guidelines, which was earlier drafted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs in 2009. So when after 2012, top 100 companies have to publish their BRR reporting. Then in 2014 comes corporate social responsibility as a mandate. In that 2014, SEBI or MCA have mandated all the companies listed in the stock exchange that you have to invest 2% of your profit margin into the corporate social responsibility. And there was some set rules that it must not be your particular organization, and all this type of rules were there, standards were there. So according to that, all the companies listed will have to start CSR activities. And then 2015, the BRR part was earlier. In 2012, the SEBI mandated only top 100 listed companies. Now in 2015, they have mandated top 500 companies to disclose their business responsibility report along with the annual report. Okay, so they have come from 100 to 500. Next, in 2017, what they have done, SEBI released a circular in which it was advised that voluntarily from financial year 2017 and 18, all the top 500 companies of the market as per the market capitalization have to prepare BRR as per the integrated reporting format. Earlier it was business responsibility report was different and annual report was different. Now in 2017 they have mixed both the reports and prepared a format that was called integrated reporting framework. Okay, so after 2017 it was first from 2017-18 it was voluntarily for the top 500 companies. Then in 2019 they have drafted a national guidelines on responsible business conduct so that all the organizations can go through it and start their workings as per the NGRBC guidelines. Then in 2019, SEBI has again extended the limit for BRR, business responsibility report, as per the integrated reporting framework from 500 top companies to 1000 listed companies. So in 2012 they were for that BRR was for top 100 companies. In 2015 it came to top 500 companies, and in 2019 they have mandated it to the top 1000 listed companies. Now in 2021 what they have done, SEBI has framed a standard as per the international market or international requirements, or you can say United Nations requirements. They have framed a set of standards or disclosures which are required to be provided by the organization, that is called Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report, BRSR. So in the BRR they have added S, that is S part, that is sustainability part, and it was introduced in 2021. So in 2021 and 22 it was voluntarily for all the companies in the India to provide the disclosures as per the BRSR format. From the financial year 22 to 23 it was mandated for top 1000 companies as per the SEBI circular in May 2021. And now they have also given moved forward with the assurance of this BRSR report. If a company is providing data as per the BRSR report, they have to provide the third party assurance from an independent agency who, as per the standard of the international market, like there is a standard called AA1000 standard. It is as per the UK based organization AA1000 standard. So if a company is providing BRSR report, so it is mandated for top 500 as per today to provide the assurance, reasonable assurance of the BRSR report. So you can understand from the chronology that in 2009 it was the first step. Now in 2023-24 they have mandated from BRR they have moved forward with the BRSR, and now they have gone much ahead with the responsible assurance of the disclosure. Earlier it was only disclosure. Now they have included sustainability along with the assurance. Now what is the BRSR standard and what are the requirements of the BRSR? We have understood the background of the BRSR. We have understood the requirement of the BRSR and how it came, what are the things. Now we have to understand what are the things under the standard of the BRSR. So generally BRSR framework have 3 different sections, section A, B and C. In all the sections you have to provide data as per the questions asked or the requirement of the standard. Now in section A there are general disclosures which were generally in the BRR framework were there. In general disclosures, the section contains details of the listed entities like products, services, their turnover, their operation, their employees, what are the subsidiaries, what are the holdings, who are the associate companies, who are the investors of the companies, their CSR, their transparency and disclosure procedures. So these are the general questions which are asked in the section A of the BRSR part. These are generally held with the company secretary or HR part, HR manager of the company. So these are very general questions, and these are already available in the annual reports or different law and different reports which are prepared for the investors or any other companies. Now in the section B, BRSR asks for the management and processes, like what are the policies available, disclosures. It contains questions related to policy and management process, governance, leadership and oversight. So basically, what are the policies of the recruitment? What are the policies of COC, business responsible business conduct? What are the policies for somebody to enter into the board of your company? What are the policies for investment? What are the policies for recruitment? And also this section B contains it is basically management questions are all over in the section B. And the section C, that is the most important part, which is included in the sustainability part. Earlier section A and section B were there in the BRR report also. Now they have included section C. Therefore, they have now termed it as the BRSR report. In section C, there are different 9 principles, and each principles have different performance disclosures of the company, and they are required to be reported as per the KPIs aligned with all the policies and all the principles. 9 principles as per the NGRBC, that is National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. Now each section classifies as KPIs into 2 subcategories. First one is the essential indicators, that are the mandatories. So these are the KPIs which include data on training programs, environmental data, energy, water emission, water usage, GHG emission, waste, social impact generated by the companies, and all other questions. So these are the essential indicators which have to be disclosed by the reporting organization. If they do not report these questions to the SEBI, then there can be questions from the SEBI and they can have an audit with the organization. There is the second part of the principle in the section C, that is leadership indicators. That is voluntarily to disclose. If an organization want to withhold the queries and withhold the disclosures with them, they can do, but it is always better for the accountability with the investors and all the stakeholders of the company. It is always better to report the disclosures which are asked in as per the KPIs mentioned in the leadership indicators. Like these are the data like life cycle assessment. You might have heard of the latest life cycle assessment which has been done by Apple. Now for iPhone 15s or the Apple Watch, they are committing or they are claiming that the watch they are preparing or the parts of the iPhone 15 they are preparing are carbon neutral. So they have done the life cycle assessment of the particular product, and it is being claimed or it is being promoted as one of the most important part of the iPhone 15. There may be different other parts, but they have specially made a commercial for the carbon neutrality of their particular product. So it is one of the best thing they have done, and it also hello, my voice is audible? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Audible.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I thought there is some network connection. So as you might have seen that there is a lot of buzz around the iPhone 15's carbon neutrality advertisement. So it is one of the factors an organization can be very proud of, and they can use it as an USP of their particular product or services, or they can also reach out to the investors or lending agencies to get some investment in their companies while showing the environmental impacts or environmental footprints to their stakeholders. Like some of the KPIs are life cycle assessment. Life cycle assessment means what amount of carbon or what amount of greenhouse gas is being emitted while producing a particular product. There are different methodologies for calculating the emissions of a particular product. Like there is cradle to grave. Cradle to grave means right from extracting the raw material up to the gate of the producing company. If I am producing and if Apple is producing iPhone 15, then if they are taking the methodology, they are going as per the methodology of cradle to grave, then as per the method, they have to calculate the emissions being done to create one iPhone 15, right from extracting the raw material up to the dispatch. So this is called cradle to grave. How much of greenhouse gas is being emitted during the whole process. Now there is other method that is called cradle to cradle. That means a complete life cycle from extracting the raw material up to the disposal or up to the recycling of that particular material. So there are different methodologies to calculate the life cycle assessments, and it is being done only once during the product lifetime, if until and unless there are changes in the methodologies or procedures to prepare that particular product, or there is any addition or amendment in the process. Then like details of conflict management policy, how you are calculating the conflict between the different organizations within the organizations, and how you manage those. Are there any grievance redressal mechanisms are there? What are the data about the biodiversity? What is the breakup of the energy that is being consumed during the operational activities of your organization? What are the scope 3 emissions? Now scope 3 emission is a very huge area which has to be covered by any reporting organization, because it is the most important part, or you can say it has the most amount of greenhouse gas emissions of any organization or of any particular product. And how you are controlling your supply chain, what are the disclosures being required by the your supply chain vendors, transporters, or any other type of consultants, or inbound or outbound value chain. So these section A, section B, and section C comprises the BRSR framework. I will again reiterate in the next slide. So this is a pictogram of the BRSR framework. You can see a disclosures under the BRSR framework. There are 3 different sections. In section A, there comes the general disclosures which were already in the annual report and the BRR framework. Like what about the entity? What are the what is the turnover of the company? What are the how many investors are there? What is the number of personnels employed in your company? And this type of questions are asked in general disclosure. In section B, management and processes disclosures are there. Like what are the management approach towards the recruitment? What are the management approach towards any special policy procedures? How it is being prepared? What are the manuals of the company and available or not? What are the policies being compliances being followed in the company? So this comes under the section B. In section C comes the principle wise disclosure. As I already mentioned that there are 9 different principles in the BRSR framework, and each principle have 2 subsections. First one is essential. In this part, this is compulsory, and the KPIs which are being asked by the SEBI or BRSR framework, you have to answer all those questions. If not applicable, if any question is not applicable, then you have to justify that why this question's answer is not available, not applicable, and all. Similarly, there are different KPIs in the leadership indicators, but this is voluntarily. However, it is always advised to provide those disclosures, as it is very reputable. It makes an organization reputable and very sensible one. It helps during the investment process also. So these are the 9 principles which are being asked in the section C of the BRSR framework. So we will go one by one. The first principle, that is principle 1, is ethics, transparency, and accountability. So it means that a business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity in a manner that is ethical, transparent, and accountable. So in first principle, the questions comes like how each principle should have a different policy. All the questions which are asked in all the 9 principles should be covered in your different policies. Like there should be policy on POSH, there should be policy on recruitment, there should be policy on COC, there should be policy for training, there should be policy of non-discrimination, human rights, child labor, and all. This type of thing should be comes under the principle 1. How much your organization is transparent, how much your organization is data driven or have accountability. All these questions are asked in principle number 1. Let me clear you one thing, that while disclosing the KPIs under the BRSR, all the questions or all the answers should be evidence based. There should be evidence like documented, photograph, video, or any other type of policy or some written document available from government or anything or third party. Each answer should be based on some evidence. All the questions, or you can say in a whole, the BRSR report is auditable by all the stakeholders and specifically by the SEBI. SEBI has also announced that they will engage some third-party auditors for conducting the audits on this BRSR report, which is being provided by the organizations. So they can sample out or they can pick some organizations BRSR report and ask to conduct an audit by the third party, which is not known to the reporting organization. So kindly, while reporting the BRSR KPIs under the BRSR, please provide all the data available that is factual and that is justifiable. If it is not justifiable or it is not correct, you should provide any justification, or you can have some statutory note in the BRSR report. Fine. In the principle 2 comes the product life cycle sustainability. As I mentioned earlier, the example of Apple's iWatch, it is called the product life cycle. And what are the sustainability? Like how you are purchasing the raw material, from where you are purchasing the raw material, it is sustainable or not. Are there any different vendors for the raw materials? If something happens to one single vendor and you are not able to purchase the raw material, how your company will be sustainable? What are the things you have done to as a stopgap arrangement? Do you have any other options for any raw material? Are you procuring from the local market also? How much amount of money you are procuring from MSMEs and all? So this type of things comes under the product life cycle as sustainability. How much of GHG is being emitted for processing or making a single unit of your product. So this type of question is being asked in principle 2. The principle 3 comes as employees well-being. So this is basically the HR part, and HR have all the data. Generally HRs have all the data of principle 3, like how much of maternity leave is being given in your organization, is there any policy of the paternity leave or not, how much. It is also being asked that how much of maternity leave was given and how much of paternity leave was given. Next question comes under this principle 3 is that are the person or the lady who has been given the maternity leave of 6 months, does she come back, or are there any policies within your organization to have her back after the gap of 6 months? What are the percentages of this type of cases in your organization? What are the child do you have any crèche in your company? What are the insurance benefits do you give to your employees? So these are basically all our HR related questions which are asked in the principle 3. Now the principle 4 has stakeholder engagement. As I mentioned earlier, there are different types of stakeholders for any organization, both internal and external. So how do you understand or how do you map the stakeholders of your organization? Are you conducting regular interactions with them? How you are communicating with them? Like there are some social community stakeholders of your organization, how you are communicating to them? What is the frequency of interaction with them? What are the ways or methods of interaction with them? There may be different methods, like through website, through social webinars, through local public hearing, through annual general meetings, through different types of meetings, or through different types of platforms. There can be many ways, but there has to be a mapping of the different type of stakeholders. There have to be a frequency of interaction with them, and there have to be a channel how a particular stakeholder can approach your organization and ask the questions related to them. So basically a stakeholder terms means that anyone who is having interest in your organization is a stakeholders. There are different types of stakeholders, like 7 to 8 or 9. So you have to identify them, segregate them, and prepare a policy and procedure to engage with them. And also they should be aware of the working operations, about the GHG emissions, and about the sustainability part of your organization also. The principle 5 discuss about the human rights. Again, this comes for the HR departments. Human rights, like what are the timings your employees have to work within your organizations? What are the types of work they are given? Child policy, child labor policy, the timings for their rest, their food hygiene, and this type of all questions comes under the human rights part. So basically principle 3 and principle 5 are the questions or KPIs which are related to the HR department. There may be few questions which are related to other departments also, but broadly this HR department covers principle 3 and principle 5. The next principle, that is the most exhaustive or comprehensive one, is the principle 6, which is for the environment part. In this principle, there are questions like what are the water usage, how much type of there are different types of water usage available in every organization. Reused water, fresh water, or recycled water, or harvested water, how much amount of harvested water was utilized, how much amount of reused water was utilized, how much amount of fresh water was utilized, then it was made available through the municipality or not, it was made available through the ground as a groundwater from the rivers, streams, from the third party vendors, and all. There are many questions related to the water usage. Then you have to also calculate the water intensity of your product. How much liters of water is being utilized to produce 1 unit of your product, or it can be also divided into the as per the turnover of your company. How much liter of water was utilized to generate 1 crore rupees turnover of your company. Similarly, the same question comes under the energy part also. How much amount of renewable energy was utilized? How much amount of normal hydroelectricity was utilized? How much amount of thermal or normal electricity was utilized? Then it also talks about the diesel or petrol or any other fuel being like CNG or PNG is being utilized by your organization. Then also the last question comes as for the energy intensity. You have to calculate the energy intensity as per the per crore rupees of your turnover. All the questions which are being asked are asked for 2 financial years for all the principals, for the last current financial year and for the current financial year. It helps to understand that the ratio is being increasing or decreasing. How much amount of what our environmental footprints are being going upwards or downwards. So it helps in mitigating or measuring the footprints of our activities. The next question comes for the air pollution. Similarly, for the air pollution, you have to calculate how much of the SOx, NOx, PM 2.5, PM 10 are being emitted by your operational activities. It helps. Next question after the air emission, the next question comes for the GHG emission. How much amount of GHG have been emitted by the organization? Now under the GHG emission, there are 3 different scopes: scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Scope 1 covers all the questions with all the emissions which are being done directly by the sources owned by the organization. Similarly, for scope 2, all the emissions which are done by usage of electricity or heat or cold, heating or cooling if you are purchasing it from other vendors, right? And the last one is scope 3, which is the broader scope which covers all the remaining activities of your organization, like value chains, both the incoming and outgoing types of vendors or value chains, like how much transportation you are calculating, how much of water you are using, how much of travel your employees are doing on an annual basis, on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So these type of questions are asked under the principle number 6: water, energy, waste, then GHG emissions, then air emissions. All question comes under the principle 6. What is the amount of green belt available in your organization is also asked in the principle number 6. So it is the most broader scope among the all 9, and it covers quantification of all the emissions and usage or consumption of natural resources. Principle 7 is policy advocacy. Like your organization is part of any association or institution or not, like CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM or not, and they are helping in advocating the policy formulation with the government or not. if there is any policy which is being implemented in for set of organizations or for all the organizations, then and can you advocate those policies? Can you amend those policies? Can you discuss with the organizations or institutions? And how can you, first you have to be the members of the associations, then you should have the approach to the associations and policy makers, how you are advocating the changes in policy. Are you and you should also advocate those in an ethical manner. It should not be done that if somebody have a very good relation with the policy makers, they can make the changes according to their particular requirement, or they can make changes as per their financial benefits. So all the policy advocacy should be through proper channel, should be ethical, and how you are doing them, what are the number of associations you are attached with, how much the time you have given to the policy advocacy, who are the persons responsible for the policy advocacy. So these are the questions which are asked in principle number 7. In principle 8 comes the inclusive growth and equitable development. As the name suggests, business should promote inclusive growth and equitable development, taking along all the MSMEs within their local region. They should purchase their products, raw materials as far as possible with the local vendors. They should define what is the local area for them. Some companies define as a 50 kilometers radius as the local area for them. Some companies or organizations define state boundaries as a local area for them. So they should try to improve, or they should try to uplift the MSMEs within their within their area. They should try to purchase the raw materials or the any other part of their products with the local party. Also, they should have some self-help groups or women-led policies, like they will buy this particular services or product from the self-help groups only. They will buy the particular product or services from the group of women only, or MSMEs of particular sector, general sector, women-based entrepreneurs, or these type of things. So they should have policies and procedures for inclusive and equitable development. They should follow those with their vendors and try to train their vendors and inculcate sustainability in their vendors organization also. The organization should not only try to make their own organization sustainable, they should also try to help the smaller organizations attached with them to be sustainable and have a long business relationship also, along with the reduced environmental impacts. In the principle 9, customer value creation, how your products and services are being provided to the customer. Are you taking care of their feedbacks or not? Are you, how a customer can come to you? What is the channel? Are there mobile numbers or telephone numbers, email IDs, or website available of your product or company? If there any grievance for the customer, or if there any grievance for a social person or community also, how can they try to reach you? What are the numbers of grievances you have addressed, you have received, how much time it took to address those questions, who was the person responsible, and how it was not how it is communicated to the grievanced person or the person who is in the question. So all these type of questions are asked in principle 9. I will just let you know once again what are the principles from principle 1 to 9 to reiterate or just to revise again. Principle number 1 is business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity in a manner that is ethical, transparent, and accountable. Principle 2 is product life cycle sustainability. That is, business should provide goods and services in a manner that is safe and sustainable. In principle number 3, that is employee well-being, business should respect and promote the well-being of all employees, including those in value chain. In principle number 4, that is stakeholder engagement, business should respect the interests and be responsive to all its stakeholders. Principle number 5 is human rights, that is business should respect and promote human rights. Principle number 6 is environment, that is the most broad or comprehensive principle. It contains that a business should respect and make efforts to protect and restore the environment. It has questions about water, energy, waste, greenhouse gas emissions, air emissions, and all. Principle number 7 is policy advocacies. How much your organization is into the advocacy of any policy. A business, when engaging in the influencing public and regulatory policy, should do so in a manner that is responsible and transparent. Principle 8 is inclusive growth and equitable development. That is, business should promote inclusive growth and equitable development. It should have local vendors and MSMEs with them to uplift them. Principle 9 is a customer value creation. That means business should engage with and provide value to their consumers in a responsible manner. So a feedback should be taken from the customers, and you should always try to communicate with the customers so that you know what are their expectations and are you fulfilling those expectations or not. So these are the 9 principles of BRSR that comes under the section C of the standard. Each standard, each section or each principle have 2 subsections that are voluntarily and essential indicators. Now, what are the general alignments of BRSR with KPIs and ESG? ESG, these are the 3 main pillars of sustainability. Apart from ESG, there are many different parts are also in the sustainability, but ESG are the most important part of the sustainability umbrella. We will first talk about the environmental part. In the environmental part, there are questions or there are strategies, policies have to be made regarding the climate change strategy, biodiversity, water efficiency, energy efficiency, carbon intensity, environmental management system, that is ISO 14001. So an organization, while trying to reduce their environmental impacts, should have these strategies within their organizations. How to fight the climate change. That means how to reduce the GHG emissions of your product or of your operational activities. How to how to improve the biodiversity within the area you are operating. How to reduce the consumption of water. You should do R&D in the so that the water efficiency of your product or services can be increased. And similarly, energy efficiency should be increased. Carbon should be removed from the environment and all. So these are all comes under the environmental part of the ESG. In the social part comes equal opportunities, freedom of association. Like if a group of personnel wants to make a union or unity within your organization, then you should help them, and it is always you should promote the union, or you should always have a meeting with the union and address their demands and as far as reasonable or justifiable. Similarly, health and safety of the personals working in the organization is a very important factor which have to be taken care, so that the personals works finely and the production basically increases. Human rights should be taken care of, customer and products responsibility should be taken care of, child labor policy should be there, procedure should be there to address all these challenges under the social part of your organization. If these are the main challenges. Apart from this, there are more points available in the environmental and social part also, but these are the main challenges an organization generally face. So to improve, you have to use these points as per the requirement. In the governance part, business ethics, compliance, board independence, executive compensation, shareholder democracy, annual general meeting, what are the training part, what are the recruitment qualifications required to be in the board, and all this type, what are the financial things also. So this part comes under the governance part. So since the governance part is already being taken care by the CS and CA of the organization, and mostly it is being taken care by the SEBI also or the government of India. There are many compliances regarding these questions in the governance part. So these are already in line with the requirement of the sustainability and requirement of the BRSR. But still, you have to take care of this so that the company is sustained and it manages to be profitable for the most part of the life. Next, what are the alignment of BRSR with KPIs with the ESG? The growing trend of there are basically in the international forum nowadays, what happens, there are many big organizations, they are reporting sustainability as per the requirement or as per the interest of their stakeholders, as they follow different frameworks, as I mentioned earlier: GRI, SASB, TCFD, UNDC, CDP. So while accepting their frameworks, or there are different standards available, they go with through the ESG rating companies and get the good ratings for the organization, and it helps in taking in the investment part or also in the future development of the organization. So there are different organizations like S&P or global organizations, there S&P and all, so who try to give you rating as per the ESG standard or ESG reporting disclosures. So once your standard, you opt for a very comprehensive standard and try to report your disclosures as per that particular, as per the evidence or the clarity, the value of the report increases, and similarly the ESG rating of your company increases. That helps to increase the reputation of the company and also in the future development. BRSR incorporates several KPIs of the international frameworks like GRI, SASB and all. It is an attempt to bring an Indian standard so that all the disclosures are uniform within the country, and while ranking also, it is very uniform. If there are very different standards available in the country, and each reporting organization is reporting the disclosures as per different standards, there will be very the vulnerability of the disclosures or questions, KPIs would be very different, and it would be very difficult to understand the requirement of the government and also to rank those ESG disclosures. To make a single standard for all the companies, SEBI has come up with the BRSR part. So BRSR have all the important disclosures which are required, and all those points are being taken by the international standards only, and as per the requirement of United Nations and different agreements like Paris and Kyoto Protocol. So these the KPIs which are mentioned, as I am also mentioned in the earlier slide, there's all the KPIs which are being asked in the all the 9 principles are part of either E, S or G, either of the environmental part, either of the social part, or of the governance part. Apart from these 3, there are no questions which are being asked in the BRSR report. Now, all the questions which are asked in different principles of BRSR, those questions are being aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. These are the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, which are adopted by United Nations up to for 2030. So these different 17 goals have to be achieved by all the nations by 2030. Like you can see, the goal number 1 is no poverty, goal number 2 is zero hunger, 3 is good health and well-being. Each SDG have its own policies, its own procedure, what are the things required to achieve those goals, how it can be done. Each SDG have its own different requirements. So you have to follow, in order to achieve those goals, you have to follow that particular SDG standard, and you can follow if you want to. In order to achieve all these goals, the BRSR helps our companies or organizations to meet the SDG requirement by adding all those questions in our principles, 9 principles, but in different form. The committee report explores linkages between the NGRBC 9 principles and the SDG. So there is a linkage between all those 9 principles and those 17 SDGs. So you can see that principle number 3, 4 and 8, P3, P4 and P8 are in line with the SDG number 1, that is no poverty. Similarly, principle number, you can see, and there is a SDG number 13, that is climate action. You can see it on the rightmost top right, that is SDG number 13. The points which are available in principle number 2, principle 6, 7 and 8 are aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal number 13, that is climate action, and as follows. So all these questions are, all these principles are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals 17 SDGs, which are being adopted by United Nations for 2030. Kindly go through this as per, or you can save this slide for the further references. So these are the basic things which are required to be known for before disclosing or before preparing a BRSR report. Since we have prepared BRSR report for around 10 to 12 different organizations, so we have a very good understanding about the each KPIs and each principles and what are the background and all requirements and how to manage the gaps. If I know personally that there are many companies or organizations in India, almost 90% in India, that they are already have gap while reporting these disclosures, and they want to reduce that gap or mitigate those gaps. So we help them and we try to provide them a customized, practicable, and cost-efficient solution to be a sustainable organization and inculcate sustainability within their development cycle. We also help them to improve the sustainability of their value chains also, which is the most important part for an organization. Because nowadays many of small vendors and small chains, value chain partners are there who works as on behalf of a parent company like Coca-Cola or all this. These big companies try to help, try to offset their operational activities to other companies. Like for Maruti, they are taking the parts from different other companies, so their footprints are very low as compared to the whole value chain. So they should try to help the value chain partners to improve and become a sustainable organization that in turn will help to make their organization a sustainable one. So we help them in different types like assessments, trainings, awareness sessions with the value chain partners and others. We also conduct a gap assessment exercise for any organization so that we can let them know what is the stage they are working or how they can improve as per the BRSR standard or any other GRI or international standard. So this is the basic awareness of the BRSR. If there is any question from any one of you, I would be more than happy to answer those questions, or you can take my number. You can call me anytime and I'll help you. That's for sure. My team will always get in touch with you. So it's over from my side. If anyone have any questions, you can ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I am CMA Devarasau here. Sir, for this BRSR reporting, whenever you are going in process of checking and getting the information from the company, how the cooperation is extended by the company and how you are practically practically you are able to get these things and practically how it is actually. Whether there is proper cooperation and the information are readily available, or you have to go further some more detail, because it is from pedal to grab, like these things are there. Means it is beyond certain things which the company normal they won't may be having, but may not be having also. Sometimes how it is happening.
Yes, Devraj, thank you for asking the question. Generally, what our practice is there, while if, for example, there is a company A and they want to prepare a BRSR report for them. Okay, so our first thing is we will take some initial data from them, and accordingly we will prepare a proposal to them that these are the things which we are going to conduct for your organization, and data we would be requiring to prepare the BRSR data. Okay. If both the companies are mutually agreed upon, then the next step is to provide a training and development session like which we are doing right now. This type of training and development we provide to them before starting any BRSR reporting, so that each and every, or you can say at least top management should know what are the things we are going to ask them and what are the things they have to be provided. Okay, so they are basically mentally prepared before preparing the BRSR report. Okay. Next step is gap assessment. After training and development, we give some week times to week or 10 days time to them, so that if they require to to provide similar type of training or awareness session to the lower level of employees, they can give. Or if they require that we want to give them, we help them in that also.
Okay, okay.
After training and development sessions,
Ah.
we go and do a comprehensive gap assessment with the organization
Okay,
or the point of contact which we have.
Okay.
We go through all the departments of the company
okay,
and we check what are the data available with them.
okay,
If there are any gaps available, we provide them a report in which
Okay.
we provide a CAPA, corrective action and preventive action. Okay, so they before the finalization of any report or collecting the data, they
Okay.
have some time of 1 or 2 months so that
Okay.
they can prepare the data,
okay,
or they can arrange the data from their value chains or anything if they do not have. We also help in collection of the data, or if they have any questions that how we are going to collect this type of data, we do not have. We are generally working on a shift. We do not have any type of register or any type of data. So we help them in providing the solutions that how you can collect the data and what type of register you should formats or checklist or registers you should prepare. We have basically we provide a total handhold exercise during the collection of data. Okay, since the data collection is their part, because there are certain complexities while collecting the data, so that would be done by the internal team only. Yes, we help them, we provide them the solutions for that. Okay, after the collection of data, we also do a random check of the data.
okay,
Since it is an auditable report, we provide we also check from ourselves randomly that this data seems to be some misleading or some, you can say, cooked data. So can you just provide me the evidence of this, any type of evidence which I have mentioned earlier? So if there is so we recheck basically na. If there are any gaps, there is basically time to recollect the data or check the data. After checking the data, and once we are satisfied or the answer is being justified by the organization, then we go for the preparation of the BRSR report. During the preparation also, we the personals from the organization, reporting organization, remains with us in continued communication, so that they are basically prepared for a better BRSR report for the next year, next financial year.
oh,
So first report is basically a raw report for any organization, because they do not have the capacity or the awareness or
Yes.
the data availability. But from the second year onwards, the report is more refined or more accurate as per the first. But the first report is always a baseline report, so it is not basically very hard and fast to have a very much refined report for the first time.
okay, okay.
Hmm.
Sir,
in
thank you
this-
very much, sir. One more thing, just I want to pose it. Sir, suppose for manufacturing one mobile, there are different parts are there. So for manufacture of those parts, different input materials are there actually.
Yes.
So now we're talking about the carbon emission from the raw material procurement,
Mhm.
from the raw material, that is basically it is iron related these things. So
Mhm.
those things are from the iron ore or something like that, input material will be there. And from the, that is minerals, that is from the mining items actually. So those things, so carbon emission for such type of raw material till it is a finished product, again it is when it is coming to, means it is being destroyed. Till that time, how it is there any technical inputs are there you are having to technical inputs for calculating all this type of carbon emission related information?
Yes, there are different methodologies as per the standards
Yeah.
to calculate the life cycle assessment, and for each type of product also,
Yeah.
like the things which are being mined from the earth core or being generated,
Mm.
produced, no? So
Yeah.
there are basically calculations available for
Okay.
a particular amount unit, like
Okay.
for a ton, for a metric ton also. So
Yeah,
this, calculations are available, and we can calculate as per the
Okay.
production or different processes of the reporting organizations.
Okay. Okay.
And as I mentioned that it is done only once for a particular product,
Once. Okay. Okay.
once. But
Yeah.
if there is any process change,
Oh, acha, acha.
or
Process
there
change.
is,
Or
or
that maybe
there is,
input material change will be also there.
yeah, if there is any input material is change, if there is any process change, or if there is any addition or deletion in the product itself, like it was earlier, it was only iPhone 15, and
Okay.
now they have tried to make iPhone 16. So
Okay.
definitely there would be some changes, and there should be some changes in products also. Like
Yes.
earlier they were using Sony camera 14, now they are
Yeah.
using Sony camera 16. So
Okay.
definitely there would be some changes.
Okay. Okay.
Process, if there is any process change, if there is any addition or deletion in the products or services, then it would have to be again,
Okay.
we have to assess the life cycle assessment of the product.
Normally, how long it takes, sir, for completing this type of audit? Actually, normally.
For BRSR,
Yeah.
for if a company is doing the BRSR report for a first time, then generally it takes some time from 4 to 6 months, depending upon the ability of the reporting organization.
Okay. Okay.
If they are very much enthusiastic about the reporting, and they are very much cooperable, then it can be done even in the 3 months also.
Okay. Okay, sir. Right, sir.
And if company is doing it for the third or fourth time, then mostly the things are very much refined at their end.
Yeah.
So it can be done within a couple of months or so.
Okay, sir. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Devaraj ji. And if there is any other question, you can also contact me directly.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Shambhu ji.
Sir, I have 2 or 3 questions, sir. First of these BRSR data, to whom these organization, that is the expert, will submit. That is whatever the reports, BRSR report has been prepared by these that is the professional organization or the outside, that is same party, to whom this will be submitted. That is this is my first question. Second question, this is you just told, sir, these BRSR data, that is after preparation 2 years, it is as per SEBI, then this should be audited by a third party auditor. That is, these auditor will be how these recently, sir, this social audit exam has been conducted under SEBI by the various organizations. Is this will be done by the social auditor, sir?
Let me go by one. For the first question, whom we will submit this report, right? So when a company is within the ambient of top 1000 listed companies, then this report will be submitted to SEBI itself.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And it also depends upon the reporting organization to whom they wants to submit it. Like if there are many requirements from the investors also, or the lending agencies, like lending institutions, so they can report, they can submit this report to them also.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, if you are not falling under the ambient of top 1000 at present, and I'm very much sure that this bracket of 1000 top companies will be extended to all the companies within the stock exchange. I'm very much sure about this, and within the next few years, or it will be done by SEBI as per the chronology which I have mentioned, which I have detailed you in the earlier slides.
Yes, sir.
So if you are in the 1000 companies, you have to submit it to the SEBI, and then you can submit it to you can also publish it on your website. You can publish it in any particular magazine. You can provide it to your investors and other major stakeholders also. So this is the first point. The second point is the SEBI is in process to engage some auditors to third party to check or revalidate the BRSR report handpicked by them for a verification purpose. It is not mandatory that it would be done by social auditors, but there are some experience criterias or qualifications being prepared by SEBI to engage those auditors. First thing should be the experience of the particular auditor, that they should have an experience in sustainability reporting of different frameworks, like international frameworks also and BRSR also. If the auditor should be experienced enough and qualified enough to audit those BRSR report.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir,
It is
will
not
you,
mandatory that it would be a social auditor or not.
will you, sir, shall we get the PPT just you given along with one BRSR report pro forma, and for example, just you did in a very good company for our learning, sir.
Yeah, of course. As you have my phone number, you can call me and I'll share it with you. The report part I cannot share because while reporting or working with any organization, we sign NDA, non-disclosure agreement with them. So it is not ethical for me, or it is not a policy to share the reports, but I can share all the presentations or slides which I have, and I can share my experience with you. And if you have, if you comes across any difficulties, I'll surely help you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay.
I hope you understand that this sharing of that report. Now I cannot do it.
That report is fully sir, confidential report. It is.
No, basically it is not confidential. There are some companies who publish those report in their websites also, and in public domain also. But the thing is that since I have the data and I have signed an NDA with them, I cannot just give it to them. Although it is in the public domain, you can go and download it through the Google or through their websites. It's totally perfect. It's totally fine. I don't have any.
Can you cite one these sir site, sir, Google site?
You can yes, there are many reports available in the on the Google. You can search for HDFC also. You can search for PNG. You can search for HUL. You can search for Dabur. There are many companies who have already prepared their BRSR report, and they are available in the public domain.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And while reading those, you can, if you have any doubts, you can call me. How we can collect this data and all.
Okay, sir. I just noted the phone number, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Shambhuji.
Thank you, sir.
Any question more?
So thank you so much, sir. Is there any question from the faculty? I think no question. So thank you so much, sir, for taking this session. It was really informative and wonderful session, knowledge gaining session to everyone. Thank you once again for taking this session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think this session would be available on YouTube now.
Yes, it is available on YouTube.
Kindly share the link with us.
Yes, sure, sir. I will share.
Okay. Thank you.